Lynch with Murph and Mac.
My sources tell me he was saying, listen to Murph and Mac.
Well, that's probably the smartest thing, yeah.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
All right, kids. Hey, listen, this is what we've been waiting for. This is going to be the first of many conversations with General Manager John Lynch we'll have this year on the Murph and Mac Show. Now, today, a little bit of a different setup. We've got my main man, Marcus Boucher. He's in for Brian Murphy today and tomorrow as well. So, John, for the first time in the 2023 season, I want to say good morning to you. Welcome back to the Murph and Mac Show. You got Marcus in today for Murph. How's everything going, John? A lot of news to talk about.
Morning, John.
Yeah, it's eventful. It always is this time of year. And how you doing, Paulie, Marcus? Exciting time of year, though. And getting close to that opener in Pittsburgh, and things are shaping up well.
Okay, man, so let's just dive right into it. Listen, the obvious story, the big story is the battle for number 2 has been decided. It's going to be Sam Darnold, and there's, John, as you know, a lot of reaction on both sides now. So for starters, I guess I'd just like you to share your feelings about the decision to go with Sam Darnold over Trey Lance.
Well, I think I'm really, really proud of that entire quarterback room, both Trey and Sam, because they knew what was in front of them, and they knew the competition was going to be intense and real, and I think they both embraced that. And I thought we saw the best out of both of them, and they each had their moments, but was really excited to see Sam Darnold and his talents. You could see from afar how talented of a player he is, how talented of a thrower. And then you wonder, how is he going to mix with us? And we thought he could thrive in our system. I think he's done that. I think Trey made incredible leaps and bounds this year, and I think his games showed that. He really, I give him a lot of credit, because we didn't tailor an offense that highlights a lot of the things that Trey is able to do. Mm-hmm. And I think he grew from that. He just played within our offense and still showed some of his ability to move around, made a lot of plays. Ultimately, Kyle and our coaching staff, they're tasked to make tough decisions. And believe me, this one was painstaking for them. They came to a point where they felt like Sam had won it, and nothing was going to change that. And so, out of their respect for Trey, they called Trey in. Never did we think all that would get out. It's things don't stay quiet for long in today's world. And next thing you know, everything that transpired yesterday transpired. But I can tell you that Trey handled it incredibly well. With class, he was devastated, and rightly so. When you put your heart and soul into something, and it doesn't come to fruition, you're going to be devastated, and that's the type of competitor he is. But we're in a good place. He'll be back in the building today, and we're moving forward.
Great, John. No, that's great stuff right there. And also I thought it was interesting yesterday. Kyle said that really over the last 10 days or so that Sam had kind of separated himself and showed that separation between him and where Trey was. And I'm just wondering if you could maybe elaborate on that a little bit. Like, what did Darnold show Kyle that maybe Trey wasn't showing at this point?
I don't think that both things have to be true. I think Trey can be showing really well. There's just ultimately, there's so many, everything's evaluated, Paulie. It's eating time, it's practice, it's walkthroughs, it's overall grasp. And so I know that I talk with Kyle every single day, multiple times a day. I know how excited he was about Trey's development. Now, the good news for everyone, I think I can tell you how excited he is right now on what Sam can be. The other thing I continue to go back to, we know what we went through last year. So there's a reason we brought Sam in. Obviously for some insurance with Brock being possibly not there, at the start of camp. We just didn't know that. But also, even if Brock was there, we wanted to be insulated such that we had true depth in that room. And so we know that we have that. And, as to what, made Kyle make the ultimate, I think ultimately coaches just get a feeling that, and convicted with multiple evaluation points. And he felt like it was time. And once Kyle's like that, he didn't want to keep Trey. He didn't want things to be awkward. He's got too much respect. And as I said, Trey handled it well. I had a good chance to talk to Trey. And excited to have him back in the building today.
Yeah, 49ers general manager John Lynch on the UMA guest line this morning. And, John, I wanted to ask about that conversation that both you and Kyle had with Trey Lance yesterday. It sounds like you were in the room for that conversation just to get the reaction from Trey Lance, how he handled the news being broke to him, and if it was a mutual decision on both sides to not have him not participate at practice yesterday at Levi's.
Yeah, I talked to him separately. I talked to Trey later in the day. Kyle, felt like, and I agree, that's a coach's decision, as to depth chart type things. And so Kyle called Trey in. They had a really good talk. It wasn't negative at all. I think, as I said, I used the word, it was a gut punch for Trey. He had really gone for this thing and felt like he was playing well, which he was. And so I think it was a mutual decision just to go home and take some time. And then, once he was home, I think, like as Kyle communicated yesterday, we had our lightest day of the year. The day before was our heaviest load of the year in terms of volume and reps. Yesterday was no pads. It was a light day. And, Trey, was with getting that news, we decided it was best for him just to stay home for the day. He'll be back here today, and everybody's in a good place. And Trey's a pro, and so, like he's done every day that he's ever been here, he's gonna do his best to be at his best at all times and to make his teammates better. And we're confident with that, and Trey's in a good place there.
And John, as you mentioned, after this meeting happened between Kyle and Trey yesterday, the story got out to the media, and I believe it was Ian Rappaport who reported that you guys are exploring all options with Trey Lance moving forward. So I would love if you're able to walk us through what some of those options are, whether it's a trade, a release, or even maybe the possibility that Trey is still on the roster week 1 for the 49ers.
I think that's the most likely option. As I said, we're very happy with Trey. That's probably the most likely option, is that he's here. If we could find a landing spot for Trey that is a really good one for him and, works for our organization, that's not something we turn a blind eye to. But that's not where our focus is right now. I think our focus is on Trey getting back here and us being the best football team. We're getting close to Pittsburgh, and that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, there's viable options for all players, but right now Trey's a part of our team, and we're going to move forward with that in mind.
And John, I saw another report yesterday from Diana Rossini from ESPN, who reported that you guys have been shopping Trey Lance as far back as the NFL draft. So I just wanted to give you a chance to address that report and whether or not you guys have had Trey Lance on the trading block for the last couple of months.
That's not accurate. So, people are going to, if I responded to every report, I'd have no time in my day, but that is not accurate.
Last thing on Trey, John, for tomorrow night, and really just kind of springboarded off what I heard Kyle talk about yesterday. The expectation, I guess, is that he will play tomorrow. Is that still the understanding, that Niner fans will get to see Trey Lance on the field tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think that's the plan. He's our number 3 quarterback as we stand right now, and I think that would be the expectation, that we see him after Sam's done tomorrow, and we'll look to finish our preseason in a really good way versus the Chargers.
John Lynch, 49ers GM, joining us on the UMA guest line this morning. Just a few minutes with John, taking some time out of his schedule to talk to us this morning. And John, I hate to circle back to the quarterback conversation, but it seems like we always do this in sports talk radio. I wanted to ask you one more question about Trey Lance, about those options that you guys will have over the next couple weeks, and if Trey Lance or anybody from his camp has reached out to you to request a trade.
Like I said, Trey's back in the building, and we're going to work. That's we're still finishing training camp up. Trey understands that. We understand that. That's where we're at.